Hallelujah. Hi, everyone. Dr. Brian Scott with you. We are studying Insight to the End Times. I'm sure some of you have been with us for some length of time. Others may be joining for the first time. We are studying where we are in God's timetable as we approach the end of the age. And if you were to go to our website, insighttotheendtimes.com, you will find a lot of our previous podcasts, if not all of them. This is episode number 392. And we are looking at Bible verses that talk about the end of the age. And we're also looking at events in the world that show us that we're at the end of the age, or things are getting worse in the world, which are prophetic statements in the scriptures. Now, I'm thinking in terms of Genesis chapter 1, 6 days of creation, with one day following as a day of rest. That's a 7-day period or 7-day week as we know it today. I'm also thinking of the Apostle Peter. He shared in his letters, I believe in the exact reference I don't have coming up in my mind here, but it's 2 Peter. He declares that a day with the Lord is like 1,000 years on the earth, and 1,000 years is like a day. So we are currently we're at the end of the age. There were 4 days or 4,000 years from the time of the creation up to the time of the birth of Jesus. Jesus lived on the earth for 33 and a bit of years. He was born around 4 BC, and therefore around 30 AD, Jesus ascended into heaven. He was raptured into heaven. And we're now in what is known as the last days, or the last 2 days of the 6-day schedule, which is about a 6,000 year period. I can't do the exact math for you. That's not ours to exactly know. But I do know this from yesterday, that the time and seasons are in God's control. And Jesus himself declared it in Acts chapter 1. He says, I can't tell you when all of this will come to pass because that's in God's control, not in our control. But we can see what's going on around us. We're talking about Daniel chapter 12, verse 4 yesterday. It's a great prophetic statement. It says that Daniel's supposed to close up the book and seal it, and that many people are going to be running to and fro, going here and there all the time, and that knowledge will increase. I remember Dr. Hilton Sutton, who was one of our dear friends and one of the strongest prophetic end-time Bible teachers that we've ever known in this 20th and 21st century. Dr. Sutton kept telling us that when you start to see knowledge increasing, you'll know you're getting really close to the very end. I'm thinking back to the 1970s. I started university in that time frame, and I had a course in computer science. I didn't like it very much, but I remember having to work in the lab, and we had to prepare documentation to print out on the computer. Now, in those days, the computer lab was a massive portion of the building. It was all air conditioned. It was a big, big area because the computers were mainframes. They were huge. We would sit at a desk and we would type out what we wanted to say, and what we were typing was punched onto cards, computer cards, roughly 3.5 inches high by about 8 inches long. We would type, and it would punch out, and then we'd have to put another card in and continue. And by the time you finished your essay or whatever it was we were called to do, we had a stack of cards like this. We took it down to a reader. We threw it into the reader. It would read all the holes in the cards, and it would go to a printer, and it would print out on what we called tractor-fed paper. That's paper that was about 16 inches wide or so, and it had holes down either side to drive it through the feed, and it would print out what we were working on. That would be our assignment. That was not all that long ago. Roughly 50 years ago, we were in the earliest stages of computers. And over the course of the years, as you know, we have moved into office top or desktop type computers, which, when we first got them, they were pretty good size. They're almost like a carry-on bag, that size. and it sat below our desk. We had a keyboard and a screen. Remember the monitors that were about the size of the old television sets? And now we have, flat screens. We have laptops. We've gone from 4-inch by 4-inch discs to floppy disks to sticks, and we just keep going on and on with all the change that's occurring. But even as our computers have changed, the access to information has become overwhelming. There was a day not too long ago when we didn't have a Google source or an Amazon source, when we didn't have these abilities to get in and find information from all over the world. But let me close this portion of the session with this. Supercomputers today are the fastest computers we've ever seen. They have more information stored in them than all information ever created since the time of Jesus, for instance. A computer has that, and you could get it on a USB stick. I hope I'm using the right terms. I leave that to other people for the most part. But there's a new wave of computers that are being tested called quantum computers. The name infers that they are unlike anything we've ever seen before. I read a review on this some time ago, long enough ago, like several months ago, that I can't remember the exact details, but I can give you a gist of what it said. It said they created a mathematical problem that was so intense that it would take approximately 10,000 hours of supercomputer time to solve. That's a lot of time, 10,000 hours. And as I said, I don't remember the exact details, but I want to show you the comparison here. The quantum computer solved the problem in just a matter of seconds. Just a matter of seconds. I believe it was less than 10 seconds required to solve the problem versus our fastest computers today, called supercomputers, that would have taken thousands and thousands of hours to solve. We are getting so close to the very end of the age. We didn't have artificial intelligence. We didn't have machine learning. We didn't have all these other terms or the ability that they've brought to us as we have today. As I'm recording this today, I have family members who are in the southern states on a family matter. We're here in Ontario. There's a distance of about 1,500, 1,600, 1,700 miles between us. I did a chore for my family this morning on my way to the office, and before I got back in my car, I had a text message saying thank you, because it came up on their computer and on their security system. Imagine, when I was coming to the office this morning, I was told if you forget the code to get into the office today, just text us and we'll open the office from where we are. Folks, this is where we are today. Increase has exploded. Knowledge has exploded. And this is one of the key signs of the very last days. Yes, indeed. We're close. I'll see you tomorrow. I've got some more material for you that's going to really bless you. Thanks for joining us today. Bye for now.